How do you help contractors stay ahead of algorithm changes or Google policy shifts?
I think we help them by just doing it. I don't expect all of our customers to know what's going on with these policy changes and with AI. I'm sure it's interesting to a lot of people, but that's what we're here for. Our team is monitoring this.
Hey, how's it going? It's Tim Brown, and this is the Plumbing and HVAC Hustle Podcast. And today I've got Sydnee Olsen from our very own Hook Agency. How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Doing very good. We're talking about unfair advantages and local search marketing today. It's interesting. We don't really talk about ourselves very much on this show.
No, that's why I'm here.
But we're going to go into it today, and we're going to talk about essentially what you should be doing on your Google marketing to get the most out of your agency and out of Google in 2025. What are the biggest advantages you've seen when a contractor invests in a team that specializes specifically in local Google visibility?
The biggest advantages, I think, is working with somebody that actually knows what they're doing. There's a lot of agencies that do like brand building, and there's a lot of really great agencies that do brand building. But I think focusing on that local SEO, focusing on using an agency that actually has done this for other people in your industry is going to give you that unfair advantage because they know how to win and they can help you win with those results that they've done before.
And the niche thing, like if somebody wasn't to work with Hook Agency, for instance, do you think they should work with a niched agency, or what's your real take on that?
Yeah, I think niche agencies are really helpful because you don't have to spend all the time like explaining what you do, and you don't have to explain who your ideal customer is. And I think there just is less mistakes when you work with a niche agency. We probably made a lot of mistakes when we first started working with home service companies. And just like having that experience is going to save you a lot of time, and you can't get time back. So it's going to save you time, and I think it's just going to make the process go much smoother.
So what's the difference between like a general digital marketing agency, what's the difference between a general digital marketing agency and one that specializes in local Google marketing?
I think the way that you do the actual work is different. So I think the way that you do local SEO is different than like national SEO. But also I think that having a team that isn't doing 100 different things helps them be just really good at the few things that they do. So I know you said we don't talk about ourselves a ton on these types of things, but at Hook, we only do Google search marketing. So we don't like weigh down our services by just being okay at social and all these other types of things. We know your homeowners are going to Google when they have a problem and they're specifically looking for something, and that's what we want to help them show up for.
Yeah, it was interesting. I mean, we did a lot of stuff when I first started the company.
Even when I first started here, there was a lot.
We did social media, organic social media. I think we did some ads.
I did Facebook ads at one point.
Okay. And we did video, and I was out doing videos and like on roofs and in attics and all these different things. And we essentially said like, what's scalable from the outside and what can we do really, really well that's actually going to get leads? And there are certain things that we were doing that weren't scalable. They're good. You should do them. Like you should do video, you should do organic social, you should do paid social, but like it's really hard to be excellent at the few things that we really wanted to like. We wanted to be the best in the world at something. So it's been like almost like painful cutting. Like get rid of that. Simplification to a certain degree that like most people would find very uncomfortable. I found very uncomfortable to take away things versus add things.
Yeah. And I think we tell people that too, like with your local market, it's easy to let's add more things. Like we probably have lost people because we don't do social or like other types of things. And when people come in and they just want to be in 5 different markets right away, or it's like, okay, trim down, dominate your local market, be really good in your actual neighborhood. And then once you've exceeded that, then move on.
Absolutely. What's the most overlooked tactic that still moves the needle in local search rankings?
Probably the Google business profile. It's changed names many times. But Google Business Profile is a free tool that a lot of people don't take advantage of. So I would say making sure that you're actually updating it, you're putting photos on it, you're treating it like your storefront is super overlooked.
Yeah, you said it changed names several times. We were talking to somebody recently and they said essentially it's built on the infrastructure. It was a social platform, and treating it like that, treating it like a social media platform that you post on every day or more often on will get you better results, because essentially it's like tapping the algorithm and being like, I'm still here.
Right.
By the way, and you post with different keywords in your local area, and you post with photos that are fresh and relevant and real, not AI photos, not other people's jobs, not stock photos.
Yeah. And they don't even have to be super polished. I think part of it is like Google wants to know that you're doing real work. So if you can post some of those not super polished photos, it's almost more quantity versus quality on Google Business Profile. It's like that consistency piece of it. Are you actually doing the work? And then are you showing Google that you're actually doing the work?
Exactly. How do you help contractors stay ahead of algorithm changes or Google policy shifts?
I think we help them by just doing it. I don't expect all of our customers to know what's going on with these policy changes and with AI. I'm sure it's interesting to a lot of people, but that's what we're here for. Our team is monitoring this. I think like we're about 34 people, so we can make changes so quickly. Like we can have our SEO team notice something has changed and then we can implement those changes really quickly, versus if something changes and we have 800 people on our team, we can't really like implement anything quickly.
Speaking of AI, kind of going into that for a second, is that an existential threat to Google marketing? Is Google marketing going to exist the same way in 2, 5, or 10 years?
Will it exist the same way? Probably not. But I think Google is adopting it. So Google has their own AI, and Google's had AI for a long time. It's all just coming up because people care about it now. But I think that Google's going to be the most important search engine for a long time. For sure, 5 years. 5 years after that, I don't know what it's going to look like. But I think that they're adopting it. And with the amount of search volume and share of searches that Google has, like it's going to take a long time for that to be significantly diminished.
Yeah, I think it went down 3% year over year from 2022 to 24 or something like that. It was a chunk.
Yeah.
So that's a scary thing if your main business model is Google. And I think that one of the things that I always try to put my mindset, we help people get leads. And wherever that is, we're going to help people get leads. And sometimes that means pivoting services or things like that, or offering different ones or a variety. But I will generally bet on some of the, 89% is where it's at. So I went down from 92% to 89%. So it's not at that point, you still want to be there.
Right.
And it's so dominant. I'd say it's a silly move to go jump off to like some other crazy strategy when the main place people are searching right now is this. And all the things that we do on SEO and Google marketing, a lot of the things that we do transfer over to things like ChatGPT. If you're making content, making lists of the best companies in the cities around you, that can show up on ChatGPT. And in fact, you're kind of training ChatGPT and training other AI tools to surface you. So content marketing, I think the underlying principles, content marketing is good.
Yeah. Well, and for right now, and I assume however long AI is working, they need something to pull from. So why don't you just be that website then that they're pulling from? So exactly, content marketing, if you're putting out blog posts and all this stuff, like they need to be able to pull from somewhere on the internet.
And I think they're going to get better at citing their sources. And I think that there's also going to be ads soon on ChatGPT, and you should be an early adopter of those. Probably dating this book a little bit, because I'm sure it will be like 2 seconds until that's like already a foregone conclusion. If a home service company could only focus on 3 things to improve local SEO this quarter, what would you tell them to prioritize?
I think the Google Business Profile, local service ads, and
So Rilla allows you to listen to it's an AI in your pocket, listens to the appointment. It's pretty crazy what it can do. It gives a script, gives everything they said, it breaks down some statistics for you.
Analyze talk ratio, interactivity, like how you and I are interacting back and forth, longest modeling, like all those things.
This is the shit that I most believe in AI.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Enhancing the
You're
user
about to put
experience.
math and data around something that used to be my magic skill.
oh, it's hard to choose that third one. I would say focusing on reviews, which is maybe a little bit cheating. It's kind of putting that into the Google business profile piece of it. But taking advantage of like the free spots that are on Google. I know local service ads aren't free, but it's pay per lead. So focusing on those areas that are showing up on the very top of that search results page. Obviously, we should be doing everything that we can, but if we could only focus on three, Google business profile, local service ads.
And I always say that results-based prioritization, but I will say the map section, when it does exist, gets 50% plus of the clicks.
Right. And I guess
So-
I'm rolling in my GBP to a lot of things.
Yeah.
So maps, I would say.
No,
absolutely.
yeah, I knew what you meant. GBP and maps kind of go together, right? So if it gets 50% of the clicks, I think even if there was one thing, right? Like it feels like that's the spot. And I think a lot of people, because they're talking about, everyone talks about SEO and you need to be doing your SEO. That's the common like thing. Coaches will be like, oh, you need to be doing your SEO. But it's not just paying another company to do a bunch of stuff for you. I think sometimes it's also the idea that you need to take every conceivably easy thing to do. Like you could get reviews every day. You can post on that Google business profile every day. You can do all these things when you have more time than money to apply it in those things that have the highest visibility. I also think it's crazy not to be posting on your personal Facebook, but that's just a separate discussion. I think a lot of people don't take advantage of all the free and easy things. And it's kind of like, why are you spending money before you do the free and easy?
Right. I mean, you are a really good case study of using your personal Facebook to get a lot of business. Like, how many leads would you say that you get just weekly from Facebook?
I think it's like 2 or 3.
Yeah,
2 or
and
3.
they're
But
free.
I mean, you can imagine, like, obviously I do a lot of work there. It's time, it's effort, but it's a better position lead too. It's closer to referral because they feel like they know you. And I get a lot of people who are just like, I know you from the content. People feel like they know you. So beyond Google, that idea of like getting a personal brand and like helping people feel like they know you by doing content. Content will never be a bad thing. And it can really grow a business. And I think like if you have that extra time and you're early in your business, there's just so much opportunity there. What do you think for our services? Like if you wanted to work with Hook Agency, what are a few things that you'd want somebody to know about our services? Maybe even before they come to you and ask for a chat.
Yep. What do I want them to know about our services? I think I want people to know that we are an actual team. So you see Tim a lot. Maybe you see me sometimes, but we have a whole team that is actually doing this work. And so it's people who get to know you, get to know your business, and they get to then do stuff specifically for you and your business versus like people who don't really care, don't really know about you. So I think that's one thing I want people to know.
What's the size that makes the most sense to work with Hook?
I would say like 3 million plus, really that 3 to 15 million is our sweet spot. You've probably had 1 or 2 websites built in the past. You've done some sort of digital marketing. You care about digital marketing. You're just ready to like be more aggressive, take that next step.
And what does the process look like, the first couple steps?
Yeah, I think that I like to come from like a education side of things. I like to be more of that consultative selling. So the first initial step would be either calling us or filling out a form on our website. And we'll do an intro call and just learn more about what are your goals? How can we help you reach your goals with our services? What do we recommend in terms of our services? And then we move on to a strategy call, going more in depth into timelines and expectations. We really want to set expectations up front of where we're going to be in 3, 6, 9, 12 months. And then hopefully we move on to a proposal and get working together.
You don't just promise 15 more leads a week and they'll solve all their business problems.
I wish I could. It would make my job much easier. People want me to. They want me to promise them leads, but...
Which I think is like that's a little bit of the problem.
Yeah.
The relationship with contractors and agencies, because there's a problem.
Mm-hmm.
There's like a disconnect sometimes between that. And the relationship can go sour. And we've had relationships go sour. And we definitely have seen many people come to us with 5 or more previous agencies that they've had issues with. And I think part of it is when you go to somebody and you say, you should be giving me this, versus, hey, what's realistic and what's possible based on my budget? And coming to a real coming to some kind of real clarity about what's possible with the budget that you have, versus just telling them, basically you're asking for them to promise you the world. And that's difficult. That creates bad relationships. I don't think anyone out there that's watching this is going to be confused when I say that there's a lot of bad relationships with agencies and contractors, and that there's opportunity for us all to improve it by like getting a little bit more real with each other, not forcing the agency into a beta position with you and telling them exactly what they should give you. It's coming to a real relationship and trying to like come together to like, this is really possible. And having a good relationship. I think it's wasteful to not have a partnership with an agency. It's wasteful to like talk down or mistreat marketing people. I think you should be, whether they're internal or an agency. I think that's a thing. It's like, have you had to manage an internal marketing person at your company? And I think that the relationship to get the best result is encouraging. It's having a discussion about what's really possible. And then I know part of the problem is that agencies sometimes talk down to contractors. And that's something I feel like is a big opportunity, is like agencies should not be doing that.
I was going to say there's the flip side of respecting your agency and understanding them, but I think a lot of agencies that don't treat their contractors well, and they also just have set bad expectations overall.
Yeah, they promise the world.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that's something that our team does really care about too, is we care about the trades and we care about the work that you do, because we know it's really, can I swear, really fucking hard.
Yeah.
You're doing really hard work.
Yes.
And we just so strongly believe in the work that you're doing that I think we come from a place of very high respect. And I think that unfortunately is a differentiator. I wish it wasn't. I wish everybody had that same level of respect.
I agree. Anything else we can share on like how to get a better relationship with your agency? Because I think that we do have a lot of contractors that work with us. They're like, they feel good. They feel taken care of. They feel like we like have their back and we've worked with them for many years or whatever. And there's that situation. And then there's where it goes wrong. So how can we get more of them to go right? And then for anybody working with an agency, what would you say most likely gets the best result?
I think communication.
Yeah.
And really bringing up any issues. Nobody likes to have those tough conversations and confrontation, but we know things are going to go wrong. Just talk to us about them when they do go wrong and allow us to fix it. Allow your agency to talk about what's going wrong and have the opportunity to actually fix those issues. Because if you just run at every opportunity, or if you just stop having the conversation, you're never going to get anywhere. You're just going to keep wasting your money.
It's kind of just saying like marketing isn't important. I'm not going to go to that monthly meeting or whatever. Like that can essentially not allow the agency to improve.
Yeah.
Which is a decision.
Right. You
know, it's a decision where you're not giving somebody feedback. It's like if you had an employee that you just stopped meeting with them and telling them what could be improved. And it's like, it hurts a little bit, but it's also the most generous thing that you can do is like give feedback to people. You know, we talk about the book, Radical Candor, and the most common issue is not actually that people that, what do they call it? It's like
ruinous
basically
empathy. Is that
Yeah, but what's the one that's like the people always think they're like, it's being mean. Essentially, they think that most people's problem as a boss or a coworker is like being overly honest and mean.
Mm-hmm.
But the truth is, which is one side of the spectrum, the truth is the most common is actually this other side, which is ruinous empathy, as you mentioned, which is just, I'm going to be so nice, not give you any feedback, and then I'm going to fire you.
Mm-hmm.
That's actually the most common, which is terrible. And that's like essentially like what can happen with your marketing employees, with your agency, whatever, or any relationship where you're not giving the critical feedback, even if it's a little harsh or tough, so that person can improve. Because eventually that person will get better if they have great like aptitude, which you're probably hiring for great aptitude.
Mm-hmm.
You're probably hiring an agency with high aptitude.
Mm-hmm.
So opportunity is to not do that. The opposite of that is radical candor. One other side of the spectrum is radical candor, which is like being honest and caring personally and challenging directly, which equals radical candor.
Yeah.
So do that, which is hard. So simple. Just do that.
Just be radically candid with your agents.
And you will have a better result. And it's also just being kind, right? Like if you
Mm-hmm.
care about somebody as a human being, as a partner,
Mm-hmm.
then it will allow you to get better results, which we're all trying to get. Like none of us everyone wants to get better results, but it's hard to do some of this stuff
Mm-hmm.
with radical candor and treat people like humans so that you can get the best result from your partners, which I think is the case with any kind of partner. I mean, it's hard being in a partnership sometimes. We wish everything was just simple. You wish you could just pay and then go away and then they'll just handle it and everything will be fine. That's not the case with almost everything, including bookkeepers, including any other business services, coaches. It's like invest your time, get better. Sydnee. Now we're just in the podcast portion, just the open discussion.
Mm-hmm.
This is your first time on this podcast. What would you like to share with our audience about, Hook, about anything else you want to talk about?
I just love Hook.
Yeah.
I have been in a lot of other jobs and a lot of other places, and I just feel at home at Hook. And I think that that's how we want to make other people feel. I love it when we have people in the office. I wish we had more people that could come into the office and do more events and have more like in-person type relationships, because it's hard only doing things over video. But I love building relationships and getting to hang out with people that care.
Give me a little bit of the flavor, because I know you did the Women in HVAC event.
Mm-hmm.
You basically had standing room only for the first 2 of 3 of your talks.
Mm-hmm.
And you had people texting me like your girl is crushing it. So give us just a little bit of like the flavor. What did you talk about, and like why do you think it resonated so much?
Mm-hmm. Well, I think that we try not to have so many things that are only like, why is it so difficult being a woman in this industry, right? Like there are plenty of things that you can go to that talk about only being a woman in this industry. But my talk was more on like building the confidence to be a woman in this industry and like actually feel comfortable having conversations no matter what group you're in or no matter what presence you're in. So it was a lot about like, what have you done in your life, and what are things that you personally have deep inside of you that give you the ability to be this kick-ass person in the business world or in your professional life? Because we all have so many pieces of our life that help us learn and help us, whether you're a mom and you are managing 5 different kids and your own work schedule and different meals, like using those types of skills to give you confidence in the work that you do every day.
Well, I appreciate you very much. You got a lot of skills.
Thank you.
You got a lot of skills. I saw ever since when we hired you, I was like, this girl is 1, super charismatic. 2, I just know she's going to be good at whatever she does, because she has personal energy and you tackle, like I can just tell you like drive into things and you're going to get better no matter what. So I've always felt that about you ever since I met you.
Thank you.
And I'm glad I believed in you.
I'm glad you did too. Took a personality hire and turned her into a CRO.
No, I don't think it was, well, okay, you were charismatic, so that is kind of personality, but I just sensed aptitude.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like I think, well, personality is a big part of all this, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
we're building a business and you need great people and you need people to be that are good with other people.
Mm-hmm. I think that's cool about Hook, that we do take people that don't necessarily have like the super hard skills of I've done this before, but you have a really good sense of people and what is their aptitude. I don't think everybody has that like internal ability to tell when somebody's going to be good at something that they've never done before. And we give people that opportunity to like learn something and be really good at it.
I'd like to say I agree. However, I've hired a lot of people that weren't exactly that.
Well, we all have. We've all made mistakes.
So it's also learning how to release to industry, as I say, RTI. And there are a lot of people that like would be better professionally suited somewhere else. So it's also like being willing and able to do that. Because it's also like for the first 5 years of this business, I didn't want to let anyone go ever. I was so scared to ever do that.
Mm-hmm.
But I also think that there's a certain point at which like you learn to do that and they have a better life too. Yes, they're sad in the moment, but so it's a mix, right?
Yeah.
Like I do think I am good at hiring. I do think I am good at seeing the greatness inside of people, but I also think that other piece, right? It's crazy because that's the whole game now, right? We're getting really good at hiring and training, and
the ability to train
yeah,
is, I think that's something that you've helped me a lot with, is the ability to like train someone. So you find somebody that has that aptitude, but they can't get there if you don't actually train them on how to do it. And that's hard. Training somebody is hard.
yeah. I don't know how many more people I could train. I got like 5 left, so I just am trying to
Make them good.
train other people to train. That's what I want to do. Train other people to train and then be done.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sick of training. Do you ever get to be done with that?
I think, yes, you just decide one day I'm done training and then everything just falls into place.
All right. Well, this has gone off the rails. I loved it. I really appreciate you being on. Where can people go to check you out?
You can find my personal Facebook at Sydnee, SYDNEE _Bailey, BAYLEE. My parents love the double E's. Or send me an email, Sydnee@hookagency.com.
And the podcast is put on by hookagency.com, Hook Agency all over social. And I appreciate you guys watching this. This is a rare episode where we kind of talk about our own stuff and about agency world. And we'd love to work with you if it's ever appropriate. Check us out, hookagency.com. And thank you guys for watching. Bye.